Take like 432. Maybe this time my mic will actually work. Maybe. Maybe I'm being too hopeful. Anyway, in front of me I have a very basic binary addition problem. What is, well, 5 plus 3? Well, obviously it's 8. But how do we do that in binary? Because 8's this digit. And, well, actually no, it's this bit because there are only 2 digits. 1 and a 0. And that becomes very problematic when we have 1 plus 1 because how do we do that? Do they negate each other and, crap, become 0? Does it become a reality-breaking paradox where you magically have 3 digits in a base 2? No. No, it doesn't. Well, kind of. They do negate each other. This is 0. But, so, for all extents and purposes, it's just 0 plus 0. But what we do is we carry. So this 1 plus 1, well, it's the next bit. So this plus this is that. And then you do this again. They negate each other, so you write a 0. And, well, you write another one there. You will then do this again. Oh, crap. And go figure. Ignore the Discord sound. And go figure. Look, then you have nothing to add this to, so you just write it to your output. And so now, your 5 plus your 3, you get 8. So how would a machine do this? I can do this, but I have a brain. Well, I mean, half of one? It kind of works sometimes, maybe? I don't know, man. Can you tell this is unscripted ramblings from the top of my head and probably out my ass, too? So, right here, you have a basic ripple carry adder. And this is what machines use to do addition. It's ripple carry adder. It's not complicated. Oh my fucking god. Discord, can you shut the fuck up when I'm trying to do a stupid recording, please? Thank you. So what you can see here is, if we have just 1 on this bit, something happened. Oh, right, my hack client. Ignore that. It writes it straight through. It's a 1. If we have a 1 and another 1, it's 0. And we have this line on. Well, what's this line? It's the carry. And if we carry into the next bit, so we turn these both off, and we have the carry in going into this, you can see we get a 1. Did I fuck something up again? Oh, right there. You can see we get a 1 if we carry into the next bit. But what happens if we have a carry plus this? Well then, you get the carry on, but it's a propagate carry, not a generate carry. There's a difference. It's important later. To oversimplify, this is generated by this bit. Whoops. This one is propagated from the last bit, and it only fires if you have the carry on from the last bit. Then if we have both of them on, you can see we get the generate on, and this turns on because of the carry. So it's a pretty nice little system. It's also stupid. This is slow and bad, and if you ever use this 3-wide ripple carry adder, you should be ashamed of yourself. Unless you're just starting, then it's fine. Which is why I'm still going to do a tutorial on it. This is also, this is a decent adder. It's an instant carry adder, and I'll get to why this is decent later, but, well, later in like 5 minutes. So, to build one of these, what you want is you want 2 inputs, and you want to invert them. And then real quick, just to grab some redstone and a lamp, because you need redstone, torches, a block, and inputs. You then want to invert them again. Make that like old school repeater before we had actual repeaters. No, this is actually to make an XOR gate. And to quickly go over what an XOR gate is, if I go over to my example logic gates, this is an XOR gate. If you have 1 input, your input is on. It carries straight through. If you have both on, powers AND gate, which turns off the input, which means you have 0. So 1, 1, 2, 0, 0, 0. And so if you have, like, if The number of inputs is even, 0, 1, odd, 1. Simple, right? So to make an XOR gate, but this one, you AND these two. You have these two inverted outputs, and which you actually, OR together. And what you have here is, so if one of them's on, it just goes straight through because you have one torch on. But this is a pretty big but. I mean, like, not like Mia Khalifa big, but still pretty big. What happens if they're both on, if I can hit the fucking lever, is, well, that powers. So now there's a 0. You might be thinking, well, you can just add a torch there and get rid of this block so you don't get the burnout clock. You can, but you don't want to. The reason why you don't want to do that is because this system here allows you to have a carry. And a carry is important. See, a carry, like I said earlier, is that. It's the thing that lets you connect multiple adders, which I'll be showing you how to do with these bad ones in a second. So after you add the carry in and the generate carry line, you then want to make a second XNOR. XOR, not an XNOR, and XOR is an inverted X. NOR, what the fuck am I saying? Here you go. Okay, so then you add that. Then to connect multiple of these, all you do, I know this is shocking, this is the carry out, this is the carry in. Holy music intensifies. Yeah, that's dead ass it. Now if you do 1 plus 1, you can see you get 2. If you 1 plus 1 plus 2, you can see you get the carry on, which means if we take the carry and like give it its own bit, you get 4. Magic. No, but really, so that's really it for these sad, pathetic adders. Next is onto my big boy adders. These are called instant carry adders, and the reason they're called that is because if I use my nifty little hack client, we can see this is transparent, which means that in like smart people, or like not retarded people terms, it goes all the way through without being stopped, except for this repeater. This is here because it's 16 bits and you need the repeater. I'll explain why in a second. What this means is that a carry could travel from here to, say, here in no time at all. It's instant, because it's called it's an instant carry adder. Duh. So I have our 5 plus 3 from earlier input here, and let's turn that off because that's for later. And I have some XNORs on the inputs. This is to invert them, and I'll talk about why this lever and that input to the carry exist in a second. You can see we get 8, but it's like really speedy too. Like if my genius ass were to turn off all of this and input 1 plus and do that, but like look really quickly, you can see how fast that was. And what's cool is that if we have that on, right, it's instant. But the delay that lamps have, they've got 5 game ticks of delay on the falling edge, so that's a thing. The adder isn't instant, but the carry is, except for the repeater. But he's like that disappointing child that no one likes to admit they're related to. Yeah. Or me, pretty much, in any social setting, but fuck that. So, right here what we have is an input to the carry and an input to the XOR gates that inverts them. Why on earth do we have that? That's for binary subtraction. And to subtract in binary, you might be thinking, ooh, let's do some fancy logic. No, it's the same fucking adders. But they're different, because here's why. We set up a subtraction problem, and it's our 5 minus 3. Well, how the fuck do we do this? And that's quite simple. Instead of minus 3, instead of writing it as this, because this is pathetic and sad, we write it as negative 3. But Mr. Name, I don't remember because it's just my actual name written in hex as a memory address. But Mr. Spedass, how do you do that? There's a lot of ways. There's sign bits where the most significant bit is actually notating is negative or not. But there's also some other, that's called sign notation. It's used a lot in like actual math, but for shitty Minecraft math, we can just invert that. This is called something I legitimately don't remember. But the process of inverting this and then adding 1 to our carry, this is called 2's complement, and it lets us do subtraction, because if we add the 5 in this, right, you can see that this returns an overflow, but we're just not counting it, because we don't care. We're doing 4-bit subtraction, not a 5-bit. This 5th bit doesn't exist, which means that when we add these together, you can see that these consolidate into that, and then magic happens, and it's there, but there's no 5th bit, so it just doesn't do that. Which leaves with just this, which would usually just go through and your output would be this. But rather, it adds with the 1 on the carry, and you instead get this. And what this makes is 2, because of the 2-bit. So 5 plus 3 is 2, which you can see in action here with our 5 plus 3 equation. If we do this, it first inverts this input. Then, at the same time, it adds 1 to the carry with this. What that means is we get 2. And it's actually a really nice system. It works well and reliably, and you can pretend you know something about computer architecture to your friends. But don't worry, we'll be getting to computer architecture in a second. This is just basics for, adders and stuff that it's not really basic, but it's going to be really important later. So let's get started with the tutorial. First thing you want to do, by the way, just as a side note before I get started, I'm not including this extra bit because it's a fucking AND gate. Or this. This is powering this and powering the carry. You can figure this out yourself, kids. It's better to do it that way, because I'm not teaching basic logic gates. I mean, actually, in the original sketch for this lesson plan I was, but that didn't go so well. You think I'm a sarcastic asshole now? Wait till I have to explain something simple that I feel like you should already know. Okay, so first you make an XNOR, because this adder uses an XNOR because it's a special adder. It wants to be unique, okay? Don't judge it. This is the propagate signal, which you attach to that. You then place a glass block there. Some of that there. Go up a little bit. My fucking chair's squeaking and it's annoying. There you go. There's your XNOR. And the AND gate is inverted here, and this is the carry line. Well, this is the AND gate. And it's just magic. Now, kids, what you want to do? You want to go up 2 blocks. The reason why you want to go up 2 blocks is so you can add some multiplexers later, but more relevantly, you want to add a sticky piston. What this sticky piston does is blocks the output. Well, it blocks the carry. This is to stop the carry, so it's not transparent anymore, and no one loves it. Cool. So there you go. There's your carry line. There are two possible outputs for the carry. It's an OR gate between this torch and that, which is an OR gate that the next carry takes. It's really nice as a system. Fucking Discord. Okay, whatever. Then what you do, you go over a few blocks. Doing this is pretty neat. And to tile this, you add blocks there, and you stagger the lines like this. By the way, if you want to tile this, you can just stack. You use like World Edit or whatever to stack this, and then just use some little magic there. Next, what you want to do, so after you got this in place, you want to add a piston. This piston is a piston that multiplexes stuff. A multiplexer is basically, it's a 3-input thing that chooses between 2 outputs, and the output it chooses is based on a control line. Yeah, they're actually really simple and really useful. there's your there's your multiplexer. Okay. Are you guys happy now? Oh wait, I didn't even do it right. That's a redstone dot. And you then place glass and a block there. What this does, surprise, surprise, it powers this. So now you're multiplexing this and its inverse, if you can tell. Like if I break that and then just like use a lever, you're multiplexing the main output and its inverse based on the output of the XNOR. This will then lead to your output, and there you go. This is the whole adder. To add, next, you want to add a simple little XNOR to the bottom and some little logic for like controlling it. To make this XNOR, this is a compactor XNOR, but it's less useful. Yeah. Kill me, please. Okay, you do that. Make this little dick shape with a torch there. Add a torch right there. Can't tell none of this is scripted. I probably already said that. Add a torch. Add that. Add that. Add that. Add that. Add that. This is an XNOR with an inverted input, which I'll add some redstone here, cause I feel like it. And there you go. This makes it an XOR, a regular old XOR that's pathetic and no one loves it. Then you add that, and then there's your input. There's input B. It's stunningly complicated. To take input A and move it to an actually useful location, you grab a repeater, go up a few blocks, go back a few blocks. Here you do that same stagger line that's over there. Go back, go down. There you go. There's input A and input B, right on top of each other. It's great. I love it. And as you can see, why is this on? What did I fuck up? What did I fuck up? I don't know. Shut the this is a functional X. Oh, right. There needs to be a redstone dot there. And with this, we have a functional XNOR with an inverted. It's an XOR. Yeah. What this does is if we input 1 plus 1 in our adder, we can see we get not the right answer. Why is that? I honestly can't tell. Oh, because I forgot the redstone. Okay, so there's 1 plus 1. And if you look at our adder, you can see it all works. But we have one of the two carry lines on because this is an OR gate. Like, there's an OR gate here. And then there's like another piston 2 blocks away that blocks this from interacting with its regular carry. But, so like, actually there's an OR gate there. Yeah, it makes complete sense. And, of course, I forgot this block that needs to be there for this torch. But yeah, other than that, that's the carry-on. Flip these both off. Now, if you can see, if we invert this and do some 2's complement. Or did I already fuck it up? Did I already really fuck this up? So it's a 1. What the? I think I already really fucked this up. Kill me. What did I break? Please, God, tell me what I broke. Is the carry on or something stupid? Why is our input on? Why is this multiplexer broken? Did I create like a torch burnout clock? Okay, that's a 1. 1 plus 1 minus. Oh, right. 2's complement can return a -0. And to fix that, we need to add 1 to the carry. And doing that, it works. Yeah, I forgot to add 1 to the carry. Now it's a working adder, because 1 minus 1 is 0, and there's no carry out. Neat. So, some other concept. This is an ALU, which stands for Arithmetic Logic Unit. I'll talk about this later. This is next episode. This is a bad ALU, too, because it uses ripple carry adders, which is the first ones, which are slow and sad and terrible. Although this is actually a pretty good ripple carry adder design, but whatever. Okay, so I'll talk about this ALU in brief, not going on a tutorial about it yet, because that's for next time. Really quickly, here are some logic gates. Here's the important one. This is a D flip-flop. What a D flip-flop is not a logic gate, but it's a memory cell. The reason why it's a memory cell is because memory cells have, well, two really important components. Well, actually, there's a read function, but we don't care about that yet. A memory cell is just, you can spam this input as much as you want, but it will never change the output. But when you clock it, it writes whatever's currently on the input to the output, and then, so if I write a 1 and clock it, and then I can spam this as much as I want, but it'll always be a 1, until I, surprise for fucking prize, write a 0 and clock it. And this is how you make a basic memory cell. Really, from here, what you do is you end this, you invert this, go down a block, then you invert this, and then you have a power here. So what this does, and also you want to, like, okay, yeah, so you go down by block, so it's inverted by default, and there you go. So what this does right here is if I write a 1, this is a complete memory cell, by the way. We're not reading right now, which means that, but if I turn this on, we're reading because this is the inverse, and we invert it again. Turn this on, we're reading, so we get whatever output we have written. So if I write this, we get 0. But any other circumstance, if we're not reading, or if it's a 1 or whatever, if we're not reading, we always get a 0. If it's written as 0, we always get a 0. If it's written as a 1, well, guess what? You get a 1. Then, to quickly move on, this is an ALU. An arithmetic logic unit, or, yeah, that. What you do with it is, stuff. This, it contains all the important functions. So I guess the way to say it, so this lever here is negate B. What this does is, surprise, surprise, it inverts B. Which doesn't actually do anything to the output yet because we didn't, it's something for later. Okay? Capiche. So, this ALU, because I'm stupid, I actually built it backwards. Or did I? Or am I maybe not stupid? I can't actually, am I? No, wait, I did. I did build it. I did build it backwards. Never mind. So, it carries the wrong way, which is fine. It doesn't really matter. Or no, it carries the right way, right. So, ALUs, what they are, they do all the logic, all like the math and the logic gates of the CPU. For example, if we write a 1 here, and we do negate, shift left or right. Yeah, shift right. What this does with our inverted stuff is we put in a 1, we got it at 2. If I put in a 2, we get a 4. It shifts the bit right by 1 or multiplies it by a power of 2, like, yeah, it doubles it. I'm smart, I swear, I know what I'm doing. Kill me. Next one is the AND gate output. This only gives an output if this acts, well, it's an AND gate. Both are on. And these are all individual of each other. And yeah, everyone's happy. That's the AND gate output. This is the sum output. It makes it like a regular binary adder. And if you add this to the negate B and the carry in, you can make it, well, a subtractor. This is the XOR, which means, you know, it XORs. shocker, you can combine these levers. So, for example, if we do these, the XOR and the N, we get an OR gate. It's an OR gate. Shocker. So, yeah, this is an ALU. This is a ripple carry ALU. In the next episode, I guess, we'll be covering better ALUs that, well, aren't ripple carry. I mean, I'll cover one ripple carry ALU, but the final ALU that we'll be using for our computer that you'll probably make by the end of this shitty tutorial is going to be using carry cancel adders, which is, again, for the next video. Anyway, thanks for sitting through my, thing. Thanks, bye.